going to show you a slide presentation. I graduated in 1980, like you, and there was a speaker. I can't remember his name, and he was well-meaning, but he started off by saying, the world needs to be changed, go out and change it. And then for the next 10 minutes, just talked about himself and name dropped, and then I was made a fellow at the... So I remember thinking, like, God, give me something to use when I go out there. It was bad times then, too. And so I thought I would make my speech, maybe I could pass on some learning to you, some things I've learned and from my experience. So, like you, this is what I looked like when I was your age. I was psyched, ready to get out of school, go take on the world. Here's kind of me now. Here's kind of me now. Next slide. Yeah. I'm tired, you know. And in fact, I just announced my retirement a few weeks ago, so I'm at a different stage of my career. Thank you. Yeah. So it's kind of an opportune time for me to give this speech because I can reflect on some experience for you. There is no substitute for experience but experience. And in fact, the good judgment you make is based on your experience. But all your experience is based on the bad judgment you've made. So what I thought I'd do is like leave that part out and just tell you some of the good stuff I've learned. And I think I'm going to be able to give, whether you're in journalism or PR or filmmaking or advertising or anything you guys are planning to do and going out there, some applications that I think might be good guidance. So let me start by showing you the BBDO company values that we created. So this is the kind of company I got to be at. These are the values. There's 11 of them. People who work at BBDO make the work better. Clients love them, not like them, love them. The attitude is we, not me. They're hand raisers, not finger pointers. Radiators, not drains. They present fantastically well. They possess healthy paranoia. And by the way, if I have a choice between healthy and unhealthy paranoia, I'll take unhealthy over no paranoia. I'll get into that in a bit. They know how to close. They bounce back. They do the right thing, and they seek out different. So how do you get to build a company like that, or even get to work at a company like that, where every day is special, because these are the kind of people you're surrounded with? Next slide. So I'll give you some overall things, and then I'll get into some specifics. My first bit of advice to you is to follow the work, not the money. Now, I know you have friends in the management school and they're getting some big jobs, but that's not what you do. That's not what you do. You need to go where you can be your best self, where you can do your best work, where you can grow and be creative. And when you follow the work, eventually the money will follow you. But if you go to try and follow the money first and the work isn't as important, you kind of become a commodity. And then when you become a commodity, the rest becomes academic. Follow the work. In fact, I did that my whole career, and the money follows you, but the work first. When you follow the work and you're learning and you're being your best self, you can't wait to wake up every day and go in. You can't wait to be your best self. It lifts you in your personal life as well. If you get a kick out of your job, others will get a kick out of working with you. And then they're going to say, geez, I like this kid. I want him or her on my team. And then eventually, people will want to be on your team if you do it right. I like the metaphor of you want to be a chef, not a waiter. Now, the waiter takes the order and brings back whatever they were told. That's fine, okay. But the chef creates these amazing sauces and things that your clients or your bosses didn't know they could have. The chef surprises and delights, makes people want more. All the people in the disciplines you're pursuing that you admire are all chefs. Another way to put it is you want to bring disproportionate value. Bring more than you were asked to do. And when you bring disproportionate value, when it becomes time to review you for a raise, you will be valued more. But remember, the value part must always come first. I'm reminded of the adage about the bacon and eggs. With the eggs, the chicken is an interested party. With the bacon, the pig is all in. So be the bacon. I'm reminded of another interesting thing that I've lived my whole life by. The best people are always afraid of being fired, while the mediocre ones are always shocked when they are. So this goes into like, what kind of people are the best people? Who inhabits this kind of skin? Who approaches things this way? Well, to me, the best people are highly paranoid, insecure, unsatisfied, bored. It's tough skin to live in, but that's how the best people perform because it's never good enough. So, do you see yourself in this picture? I certainly did and do. It's tough skin to live in, but you can channel it, and it can be a great engine that drives you. So here's how to channel all your craziness into something that's productive and great, not only in your job, but your personal life. So I'll give you 4 things I think you should pursue. First, remember, listening is everything. Never let your ears fall off. You want to be a sponge. You want to absorb everything. You want to read everything. You want to ask gazillions of questions. Learn everything there is to know about your field. We could keep going. And remember that the truth is everything. Now, it's the only thing that works, whether you're, again, no matter what you're pursuing, the truth is the only thing that works. And it's a tricky thing. Next slide, please. Honesty is not only the best policy, it's rare enough today to make you pleasantly and conspicuously, noticed. But also, it's not easy. Next slide, please. Because the expedient thing and the right thing are seldom the same thing. You need to think things through. As we see in our world today, you need to think things through. The world is gray and messy and fuzzy. The truth is difficult, and you're going to be challenged. But if you do the ethical thing, things will usually work out. Now, you heard me talk about learning and listening and being a sponge. Once you've done that, then you have to start unlearning. And by that I mean, next slide, please. You don't want to rely on the go-to tropes, the safety valves, the bandwagon trends that get you stuck in the mediocre concrete. You don't want to fall into the comfort of the same things that everybody else is doing. You want to chart a new path. Now think about life. Most everything is the bandwagon trends and safety valves and tropes. Books, music, TV shows, restaurants, your relatives, 95% of it kind of mediocre. But you want to function in that 5% that's magical. Everything you've ever liked is in that 5%. It's breathe fresh, effervescent air into the culture rather than pollute it. Don't get stuck in the concrete for the 5%. Go for the 5%. Learn everything you can, then build off it into an uncharted path. And then the last one, which I think is probably the most important one, storytelling is everything. For as long as there's been recorded history, the way ideas have been effectively conveyed to humans has been through storytelling. The Bible, Tarantino, whoever, storytelling. The French New Wave film director put it well. He's Jean-Luc Godard. He said, sometimes reality is too complex. Stories give it form. So no matter which discipline you're pursuing, you need to shape your concept into a simple, absorbable story. And I've identified 4 elements that I think make great stories. Okay, you ready? They all have unforgettable characters, compelling plots, and by populist I mean everybody can understand it. And it has some kind of commentary on the human condition, not necessarily political, but something we can all recognize. It can be emotional or funny, educational or just fluff, but all the great stories deliver these assets. I could point to the Snickers campaign we created that's been running for 15 years now, You're Not You and You're Hungry. So instead of just saying Snickers was packed with peanuts that sort you out when you're hungry, we tell a more relatable story. everyone acts cranky or like a diva or a jerk when they're hungry. It's a truth people can embrace because we've all been there. But maybe I'll show you an example of a more meaningful event that occurred before you were born. The story contains the 4 posts I just mentioned, and I'll articulate it this way. A young man stands up for freedom and faces down the overwhelming power of the state. This was Tiananmen Square. There was a glimmer that maybe democracy could take hold, but instead the government declared martial law and deployed the troops to quash things. And as the tanks rolled in, a brave, anonymous guy made a stand, and this picture made its way around the world. An unforgettable character, a compelling plot, populist, social commentary. Extraordinary storytelling in this one picture. So these are good too for you to keep in mind as you go forth. Few people are successful unless a lot of other people want them to be. So you don't want to be political, you don't want to be conniving, be part of the team, and just show your best self. You cannot sink someone else's end of the boat and still keep your own afloat. Same kind of thing. It's very true. No one has ever served his emotions and best interests simultaneously. This was Caesar over 2,000 years ago. I think what he was saying here is don't get too excited about the good things, don't get too freaked out about the bad things. Keep an even keel as you go. A lie makes its way halfway around the world while the truth is still putting its boots on. That's Mark Twain in the 1800s. That's very true today, especially as AI comes to the forefront and people create things that didn't happen, or it's something you're going to have to figure out. What dust we raise, said the fly upon the wheel. So you were only a small part of whatever's happening. Always remember that. The graveyard is filled with indispensable men. In several years, will they remember that I was the head of BBDO Worldwide? This is important. Adversity doesn't build character, it reveals character. It's really nice to be great and fun and generous when things are going well. You see people's real colors when things aren't. Reveal good character when they don't go well for you, because they won't. I won't read this one, but don't manage up. Manage yourself and do the job. And this is a good one too, ancient Japanese proverb. You're going to get knocked down a lot, things are going to get killed, things are not going to work out. Just stand up one more time and it'll work out. When you lose, say little. When you win, say even less. Be humble. Be grateful for your talent and your position. And thanks.